computer. Last week I recorded to the cloud and it recorded awkwardly. I'm like, man. So now I know how to record to my computer. All right. So welcome to this week's Realtor Training. I'm Paula with Funding American Mortgage. And this week we are tackling the renovation loan. Okay. So now when you hear renovation loan, you probably think delays, red tape, chaos. But today I want to flip that mindset. Renovation loans can actually help you sell more real estate and they turn outdated listings and picky buyers into opportunities. Okay. So let's get started. So, why do agents avoid them? Hold on, there we go. Why do agents avoid that? Well, most agents hear the word renovation and run. But here's the truth: with the right lender, they do close in the same time frame as a regular loan. I'll never forget the first time I closed a renovation loan in 30 days. I was ecstatic, and the reason that happened is because we were all prepared, right? So. Um, the take forever to close can happen, but it happens when you're dealing with contractors who don't know how a renovation loan works and what information we're going to require. If they're really, most contractors are not good at paperwork. Okay. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. They're not good with paperwork because they're good at building homes. They're good at contract. They're good with their hands, not good at the monotonous paperwork stuff. Unfortunately, with a renovation loan, I will say there is some paperwork they have to fill out. And sometimes they have to redo it, which again is not their favorite thing to do. So that could cause a delay. So it's really important that you're dealing with contractors who already know the deal, who have done these before, who understand the importance of responding back to emails and things like that. But again, with the right lender, right preparation work, timelines, they really are manageable and they can get done pretty quickly. Um, Foreclosures. I actually get asked this a lot that they think that these are only for foreclosures. But funny enough, not every foreclosure needs work, which is the really funny part too. Um, these work for any home, literally any home. Now, what doesn't always work are the type of repairs you want to do, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But any house can use any type of renovation loan. Okay. And then also they get scared because it's for FHA. Well, no, it's not just for FHA. There's conventional home style, which that's a fantastic product. If someone's looking for a pool and the houses that are in their budget don't have pools, we can help out with that. There's VA options. So for our veteran clients who want to take advantage of their VA eligibility, we can do the VA. We got renovation loans and even USDA renovation loans, although they're not as well known. We're not really in a big USDA area, as you might have learned. All right. So those are some of those myths that I wanted to kind of debunk and get people comfortable with the idea that these can close fast, they can work on every home, and the coolest thing is it's not just FHA. So what's possible, right? Well, we're going to be unlocking hidden value in a home. All right. So here's the magic. Buyers can roll the cost of the repairs or the upgrades right into their mortgage. Sellers can use this as a marketing edge. Okay. If a home is dated or it's sitting too long, you can remarket this home as a move in ready your way type of marketing. So the buyer would choose their finishes, the loan covers the cost, right? So here's an example. Let's take a 1970s rancher with green cabinets and a mauve carpet, or everyone's favorite bathroom, the pink railroad tile, or the blue railroad tire. Take your pick. That was very popular, right? Instead of doing another price drop, you can relist it as this home qualifies for financing that lets you roll upgrades into your mortgage. Pick your finishes and move in your way, right? Now that just turned a stale listing into a custom opportunity. And buyers love that. Sometimes they need a little push to see that vision. So we literally have to spell it out for them. And agents can then reframe oh, this takes too much work into, well, there's so much potential. So this works for both, again, like I said, stale listings or getting that new listing, and also helping your buyers find the right house that they're looking for. Let's go into This is like a quick sheet, loan options. All right. So here's the sheets. You have your FHA 203K, which is the most heard about. Most people know about that loan. Okay, or at least have heard about it. So it's best for first time home buyers, but I would say this is honestly for me, it's best for any home buyer. 3.5% down, flexible credit, requirements, covers major and minor repairs. Again, the borrower approval part goes through regular FHA guidelines. Um, which if you took our first class or you rent it, FHA can go down to a 500 credit score. Okay. Again, the borrower approval is the same as any FHA loan. It's the contractor work that also adds another layer of approval with that. So think of it that way. Same thing with the home style, right? It's conventional loan, minimum 5% down, or you could do the 3% down if they're a first time home buyer. It also, though, allows luxury items, right? Additions, holes, structural work that's beyond the FHA allowable structural work. So this gives more potential. And then you have your VA renovation, which allows your veteran the 0% down. Um, it's great when they're buying old houses that are near the bases. And again, you don't need to memorize the rules, right? You just need to know that these things exist. And then they need to call me. So that's kind of what we're looking at. So that's why I didn't go too deep in the weeds on the details. We can go over those. So here's your role, right? You don't have to manage the construction of it, right? You just need to recognize an opportunity. So when you write the offer, you're going to write it as an as is offer. Okay. So the appraisal is going to look at the after improved value. So again, it's going to increase that buying power. It's going to stretch the comps. You don't need to worry about is this going to appraise because it doesn't matter. The appraiser is going to look at, okay, with these upgrades, is that going to hit the appraised value? And the cool thing on the FHA is that it has a 10% flexibility. So it can under appraise by at least 10% and we can still close on the loan. That's a great hint. If you have an existing home that you're under contract for and they're using FHA, it's easiest when they're using FHA and the appraisal comes in low and they refuse to change their mind. Well, add a couple additions, add some repairs, add some updates on the carpet or your appliances or things that the client was going to do anyway through, one of your Home Depot or Lowe's, and then flip it to a 2 or 3K type of loan. That's a little trick. Learn that along the way. You might have a little bit of time, but at least you can get the deal done and it's not dead. Here's the thing you gotta know. We are only looking for licensed contractors. Okay. So no DIYs, no Uncle Bob, no do-it-yourselfers. It's a licensed contractor that we have to use to do these repairs. Okay. Um, moving on. So here's how we're gonna market these ideas. Because I think this is where realtors are losing out, right? They're not thinking, okay, how can I use this information that this exists in order to get more business? Well, here we go, right? So, step one, social media campaigns, right? Tired of competing with 10 offers? Let's find a home that needs love and make it perfect with a renovation loan. You could do a whole carousel series on that. You could show like real life examples of, dilapidated homes or homes that need some love and the turnaround of what it looked like. Um, you can, have a cost analysis um, with that. If you host an open house even not even a fixer, even if you know the house is outdated, right? Let's say you have this listing, you took it on, and the house is outdated, and we all know it's outdated. Even the seller knows it's outdated. They don't have the capital to make the improvements right away. Guess what? AI is so powerful. I mean, we use AI in staging now. When you have an empty house, you use the AI for the staging. Well, you can do that with upgrades. You can take an existing picture and use AI to do an updated bathroom. Like, it's get rid of the shower tile, put new updated tile or clean it up a little bit, make it look a little different. And if you partner with a contractor or someone who can give you some estimates, get an idea of how much it would cost. And then we can also do sample loan payments. Hey, rework this home to make it your own. And, here's what your mortgage would be approximately. You know, that's a huge selling point, right? Because I'll never forget, I went to open house back when I used to walk around, and the whole upstairs was like gutted. It was beautiful home on the first level. First level, gorgeous. You can tell they really put in a lot of love. Going that second level, they were doing some work. So there was I think only one room not gutted. And the listing agent was having a hard time selling it because some people couldn't see through the studs, if you will, because it was just standing studs. And I gave her that suggestion. I'm like, well, why don't you get a contractor or someone to come in and, show people when they come in the house how much it would cost to fix it. Just give them an estimate. No one's gonna hold their, feet to the fire or whatever. But as a buyer, if you're going in and you have an idea of how much it would cost, well, then you can budget for it. Then you can make plans like using a renovation loan to fix up the house. And you kind of already have an idea of what would need to get done. And you're making that decision process easier. That's what it's about. It's about making the decision easier for the buyers. And when you do that, you'll have more offers, right? You can rebrand listings as renovation ready instead of dropping a price. And I love this one, um, because I think we're in a market right now. And again, people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I really feel like people drop the price too fast right now. Like, I'm seeing listings drop their price by like 10 grand in a week. And I get it. We're no longer in that 2020, 2021, boom, but let it marinate a little bit for people. We're in, fourth quarter. There's not a ton of buyers on the market right now even looking. Like, relax a little bit. Give some time for homes to marinate before you just, simply, well, let's just change the price. It's not always about price. Buying a home, whether you're talking mortgage or the actual house itself, it's not always about the price. Sometimes it's location, sometimes it's the upgrades. And if you can figure out what it's about and fix it and market a little bit different, you might not have to drop the price because now they're seeing that value. They're seeing why it was listed at that price in the beginning, right? You can reach out to your past clients, which is awesome. And quite frankly, something I don't think realtors do a whole lot of, which you should, which is reaching out to your past clients because they're still your clients. They're not past clients, they're clientele. And they know a lot of people that want to potentially buy a house, right? So one of your newsletters could be 3 homes you can make perfect with a makeover. I would read that email because one, I'm nosy. I want to see what these houses look like. And two, I'm going to get some ideas. So, regardless, I'm going to open that email. And even if I had no intention of moving, that could be a spark. That could start getting the wheels to turn. And maybe in a year or two, I'm going to go back because I remembered that email. I'm going to reach out to you. Right. So, that's a really great way to touch base with your clients and, be another touch. And it is something of value you're giving them, then more than likely they're gonna open. And then co-branding. I love co-branding. I love these loans so much and I believe in them. And I think this is one of those loans that's magic. I can run numbers. You can post a story, basically. So we can host education seminars, co-brand material. You know, Building those relationships helps benefit everyone because if sellers understand how they work and if buyers understand how they work, that's where that preparation comes into play. We make sure they're prepared ahead of time and it can go smooth. And you're looking like a hero. Okay. So again, with these loans, no, you don't have to know every detail, right? That's what I'm here for. But when a buyer says, I'm not moving ready, your line is, that's okay. We can make it move in perfect. So we can partner up on listings, take a new angle, or help buyers who are out of options. Especially if you want to schedule a quick call for me, there's my link up here, my link tree. You can scan that, have access to all of my contact information. Again, if anything helps you win a deal, again, my only ask if you do think of me. Um, any questions? We have Stephanie here today. Any questions on anything we went over?
I know you mentioned um, Lowe's and Home Depot in particular. Do
Mhm.
those all of those loans require that those only be the vendors that can do that, or can it be any licensed appraisal?
It can be any, it can for those it can be any vendor. So like I know there's some mom and pop shops that do like, appliance installs and things like that. They're gonna be licensed. So they're very easy to get approved because again, they already have their installers approved to do it. And again, it's a really quick and easy way to flip okay, this deal is dead to a let's save it.
Okay. And is there a cap on the percentage of that the reno can be compared to the loan amount?
Sometimes. It really depends on the type of loan you're working with. Um, they're different caps. Again, that's something that I felt that as a realtor you don't really need to know about, but as a loan officer should. So as the loan officer is given those numbers, that's the thing they need to say, okay, hold up, this is gonna be too much.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah,
Great. Great. No, that's
definitely.
really
Good.
helpful. Thank you so
Great
much.
questions. Very good
Thank
question.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope you utilize some of this information to help get you a new business now and in the future.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Next week, we are tuning in for next week because we are doing arms and the buy down. And I'm explaining those and working those on how we can make people comfortable in this market as well, because those are also some products that, again, don't often get used and have a really bad reputation. And I want to nullify that.